Good morning and welcome to the free daily coaching hangout. Your daily hangout for mindset, tech tips, and everything attraction marketing. We're here every morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Sit back or jump in. Either way, remember to have some fun. Here at freedailycoaching.com.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a free-for-all Friday. For some of you that are shopping enthusiasts, it's Black Friday, so maybe you're out and about right now. Maybe you're watching this from Google Plus and on your telly. Maybe you have your cell phone out and the live hangout from a YouTube. We're going to come this morning live from Goat Village, and I didn't realize that when you actually leave my house and go down to like where the goats actually are, how far away from the Wi-Fi it is, starts to really lag on the feed, and there's already a decent delay. So I can go outside in a little bit, and we can let the goats up into the, like our section of the backyard. I figured that what we would do first is bring over some guests and see who wanted to share today on Free for All Friday. Normally what we do here is Friday is a day where people come out and share their action steps, things that they did this week, the actions that they took, and then the result. And now sometimes that the action and the result doesn't always align, right? And so sometimes people are coming and they're saying, hey, what could I have done differently? What could have been other possible solutions, other actions that I could have taken to get the desired result? So that's normally what we do on a free-for-all Friday. If you've taken some action this week, if you're ready to implement and you already did and you got some types of results, then raise your hand, let us know. We're going to bring you out and we're going to discuss that on Free-for-all Friday. That's the that's the main goal. I was reading, Chris had I had looked over in the chat and someone had written about their pumpkin pie. So if you guys have some good turkey stories, you can tell those too. It's a little bit casual on the last 2 days here at Free Daily Coaching. I'm going to keep it casual here on the Free for All Friday, and then we're going to do some a little bit more in-depth marketing tips today over on the Wake Up Call. I'm hosting the My Lead System Pro Wake Up Call, and so I'm going to talk about some marketing points that we can go over. So this week on Free for All Friday, let's talk about actions that we took, results that we've gotten, and maybe something that we've got in the works that we haven't seen the results quite yet. You may have taken some action. Maybe you're doing something right now, but you're not quite seeing the results. The planting has been done, right? And you're seeing a little bit of growth, but you haven't had a harvest yet. So Christina says, yes, she wants to come out and share. So we'll bring Christina over. I just clicked on you, Christina. Give it a second there she goes. Awesome. So raise your hand if you want to come over. Like I said, we're going to keep it pretty casual this morning. I know everyone is probably having a turkey hangover, and you might be just recuperating from a big day yesterday. And a lot of people started their Thanksgiving even earlier than yesterday. Some people started traveling maybe Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So good morning, Christina. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great. What actions, what did you do this week? What did you have going on?
Been really focused on being a little bit more direct as far as getting people on the phone and not being being so passive with, getting them on my list and getting them on the phone or getting on a video call.
Awesome. And so the action was, moving towards taking the conversation from online into a more direct conversation. And what did that result look like? Did you have good results? Did you have fair, medium, not so good?
I've had great results. I've learned a few things. I mean, I think it's like, it's important to make sure that the person understands how to get on video calls if you're going to get them on video calls and they've got all their plugins on and, they get a headset or something like that. But other than those small little things like that, it's been very positive. And I've been able to, get them to, it's easier that way to figure out how that can help them. Is it, just a 1 or 2 sessions that they need with me, or do they need MLSP, or are they looking for a biz op that I could, show them mine?
Right. That's awesome. What have you noticed a difference in, because this is good for other people maybe other people are saying to themselves, wow, that's a great idea. I should be getting people from talking to them and chatting online to like really talking to them, whether it's a video call, whether it's Skype, whether it's an actual on the cell phone. Have you noticed any difference in the communication style when you're texting back and forth compared to when you're actually on the phone?
Yeah, it seems that I can get more directly to the point, because you can hear their reflection in their voice and stuff. So when they answer, if it's not exactly on point, whether not that they might be trying to be misleading, but again, a lot of times people don't really understand, terminologies and stuff. So it's easier to get directly to the point, I think.
Okay. No, that's a good take. I think I found the same thing essentially. I think it's also the conversations don't get so like off track. Like do you ever get a time where you're on the chat and like you say something and then they're saying something, but then like at one point like you're answering or they're answering like the one before that, and then once it gets off, like the whole thing, it's like a train coming down the track and getting derailed or something, and then like once that one car goes off, it all kind of gets kind of kinked up.
That's true. That's very true.
So I noticed that. Did you notice that the amount of people that once you're talking to them already, like you're chatting with them, have you in most cases, or maybe you're not keeping track of this, in most cases, have you already asked them for their information to be able to get onto your newsletter or your email list?
It's varied. Most of the time, yes.
Okay. So most of the time, like would you say most of the time being like 75% or more, would you say that would be a good, like, for those people out there? Because I know some people like to break it down in their mind like that, like, you know what I mean, a little bit more defined. So would you say maybe like 7 out of 10?
Yes, definitely. The reason why is because you never know what's going to come up, like if somebody's got to reschedule or whatever. So right. I still want to be able to get communicating with them, and I also would like them to have, maybe the first follow-up letter or so, so that that at that point it's easier to introduce my whatever platform I want to introduce them to, because it's in my follow-up letter.
Right. No, that's good. Let me let these guys out. So let's just choose a number of 10, because that's just an easy number. Let's say out of 10 people, let's say 7 of them you actually got them already onto your list before you were communicating with them, like via Skype or telephone or a video call. Mm-hmm. Of those, did you notice an increase, like was the number higher for the 7 out of the 10 rather than the 3 out of the 10 of the people that were willing to get on the phone? Or did you find that either way they were pretty willing to get onto a live chat, like a real time?
I found that either way, and that's because I do really try to extend the rapport a little bit. I mean, I try to have at least 3 or 4 back and forth with them by then, so that I really know what their pain is. And at this point, I'm getting people who are just like, good Lord, just help me.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the key to where what you're saying here really is that you're identifying people that are actually in pain or actually are looking for some type of solution. And so by the time after like 3 or 4 back and forths, like you said, they're just like, listen, just help me. Like if you've got the answer, like just show me what it, you know what I mean? Just tell me what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you do, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And that's the crazy part. Okay, so that's a really good point. So here's the deal. I remember there was a time where I was like, well, what's the pain? The pain is going to be a little bit different for each individual, right? But everyone has the similar pain is they want to figure something out. They're trying to do something, whether it's they're trying to figure out like how to get videos uploaded onto YouTube, or they're trying to figure out how to do Facebook ads, or how to build a sales funnel, or how to make a blog, right? So everyone's, or how to generate more leads, right? Like how to sell more skinny pills or juicy juice or hypey hype or whatever it is that they're selling, right? It's not that's it. That's their pain. They're just it's not like a trick thing that you have to find out, right? It's pretty basic, and I'm sure that by now that you've been doing it for a while, that you've been like reaching out to people online and doing this specific strategy, you've by getting people on the phone, you've probably refined the process to and sometimes I'm guessing before you get on the phone to know kind of like where to lead them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would that be a correct assessment?
Yes, it is. Or at the very least, I know exactly what I haven't found out enough of.
Right.
Yeah.
So for the people that are watching, and maybe they're, for those that are here live, but also maybe some people are watching on YouTube or Google Plus. So this is really a great topic, and this is something that I do all the time, and so it's great to see someone else doing it and then being able to share about it, right? And share about how the conversations go. So do you find it's pretty fluid for you, or is that something that developed the more conversations you had, the easier it became for you?
It's becoming easier, the more conversations.
And why do you think that is? Like, just your take. Why do you think it's becoming easier?
Because I'm starting to learn what questions are good questions to get to good open loop questions, and what questions really kind of fall by the wayside.
And how are you learning that?
Getting it wrong.
Right. So it's really just a matter of having to take the action and do it repeatedly, and then learn what's the right ones and which ones are the good ones and which ones are the not so good ones.
Yeah.
And so, do you think, and I'm just asking this as a hypothetical, do you think it would be beneficial if you could write some of those questions, or do you think that it's so like in the moment that you kind of like learn as you go, or is it something that you think that someone could just be like, okay, learn these 4 questions? Just give me your opinion, because there's no right or wrong. It's not like you're gonna, like, we're not talking about any specific strategies here or people's strategies or ideas. I'm just asking you, do you think it would be possible, hypothetically speaking, do you think you could just write 4 questions down and give that to someone, and then they would just have success because of those 4 questions? Or do you think that it's more than just the 4 questions?
Yeah, I'm going to say both, and the reason why is because if you have the basic questions down,
right,
like those questions like that Bill Pascal-Salido kind of talks about,
right,
you have a little confidence of where ideally a conversation can go, or how you can direct a conversation. However, I think you need to be as organic as possible, and for me, I have to know those questions are there and what direction to put the conversation, but I have to be organic, or it just I have to be authentic, or just I fumble if I don't.
Absolutely. So, I agree. So I talk about it all the time of like taking like one sentence at a time, you know, like one question at a time, and then like incorporating that into my dialogue at some point, right? Like, so I'm always asking at least every single person that one question, so I'm getting that desired response back, at least at least one question, right? That's how I started, and because I wasn't good on the phone at first, I would call people and be like, "You should check out this thing that I have," and and I didn't even know, you know what I mean? I was just like, "Oh, I saw you give me your phone number. I figured I should call you, and let me tell you what I do." And it was just like like just onslaught, right?
Hmm.
So it was taking like one sentence, so it was like, just like you said, like both, like it was taking this one word or this one question, right? But then it was also using it and then taking it and realizing that there were some cases where like the specific question, like how it was originally framed, it wasn't like how I would say it. But
Hmm.
I could ask the same question just using like slightly different words, or just saying it like in a different tone, or like just rephrasing it a little bit, right?
Right.
So I learned that, just like what you said, in the moment, right? In the actual situations. So I think it's vital what you shared about having to really, you have to fail. You have to ask the wrong questions to figure out what the right questions are, right? That's key. And then practice over and over and over again. If you ask those wrong questions, pretty soon you just figure out, like, hey, I don't have to ask that question anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I literally can just wipe that question totally out because it's totally irrelevant and it's a waste of time and energy.
And
And so then what that really does is it allows you to become more succinct with your time and your conversations with people. It
hmm
also increases the level of conversions, I'm sure that you're seeing, right? I'm sure that you're getting a lot better response now from people because you've made the extra step going from like chat and texting to capturing the email to now talking to them on the telephone.
yeah. You know what? That what you just said was really big for me is not wasting, not not wasting my time because it's never a waste of time if you're trying to help somebody, I guess. But at least valuing my time more so that I don't just hop on a video call with somebody who's really not ready.
Right.
Qualifying better, I guess, is what I'm saying.
No, absolutely, because everyone, there's, everyone has, we only have a certain amount of time, every single one of us each day, right? So it's a fixed number. And so you have to decide how are you going to spend that time. And if you're communicating with other people, you want to make sure that it's in a beneficial way for you and the other person,
Right.
right? And
Right.
especially if you're helping someone, you want to make sure that you're actually utilizing that time to actually help the other person so that they're actually like moving forward, learning new information that they can then go apply. If not, then it's like you wasted that time,
Hmm.
right? If the lesson didn't get learned, if you didn't get it taught, if that was the intent, right? Then it was like it was all for naught. And in what we're doing in this model, you're specifically reaching out to help other people to see if you can be of assistance to them and what they're doing and their efforts. And so I think the time is the most valuable thing that you have it uh, at your disposal. So I think it's probably maybe the most precious thing that you have and the thing that needs to be guarded the most.
Yeah, for sure.
Huh.
For sure.
So this was a good conversation this morning. For those that are just joining us, I forgot I need to change the website so that everyone knows that free daily coaching actually starts 15 minutes earlier now, and I guess that means the opening music needs to change too. Uh, I had just thought of that this morning when it played. I was like, oh, it says 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So maybe you're just joining us and we're just a few minutes in here. We actually start at quarter past the hour, so not half past. We recently changed that, so we'll get that changed up on the other end. And if you're just joining us, we'll go back and we'll do a recap. But let's say good morning and welcome to some people. Let's say good morning to Whitman and Jeff, Karen, Linda, and Craig, Jeannie and Deb and Leanne and Bob. I don't know, I always get like a little twang when I say Bob for Bob Miller. Good morning, Carrie and Rick. Rick's I saw in the chat earlier. Rick's actually joining us from the elliptical trainer this morning, so he's doubling up and doing a 2-for-1. Good morning, Chris and Elizabeth. Mr. Maurice Walker. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning, Debbie and Judy. So good morning, good morning. I know there's a few people that jumped on in between. I was just trying to scroll through in the chat. So what we were talking about, if you maybe just joined us in the last minute or two, was we were talking about what actions people took this week and then what were the results. And Christina was sharing with us that she has been using this strategy of using social media to go out and meet people and have conversations. So she's done that, and not only has she done that to start engaging in these conversations, but in addition, she's been then collecting those names, right, or capturing that information and getting them onto her newsletter, getting them onto her email list, so she can now communicate with them on a regular basis. Well, she's been taking it even a step further, and then continuing that conversation, and then getting the person that she's speaking with either on the telephone or on a video conference or on a video chat, so they're talking in real time instead of texting back and forth. What she's noticed in doing that is, and what I think you will notice when you start to do these types of activities, is that you will start to become better at your trade. You're going to start to develop skill sets, and you'll develop them both in the texting and the Facebook world, and you'll also, what we got up here? Oh, some flour. You'll also notice them in the conversations on the telephone that you're having, okay? The reason that you'll notice this is because of the volume, you'll start to learn. See, Christina said she started learning, especially in the questions that she was having with people on the telephone and in the video chats. She learned what questions were not required. They were not necessary. And it was simply a matter of asking and then making an error, right? Like when you, and let me give you an example of how you would know that the question that you asked was not pertinent or wasn't required, or was like, hey, don't ask this question in the future. If you ask a question and the person's answer is just no, that's a great example, right? Just, it doesn't matter what you ask. If that's their response, that's definitely not the response that you want, just a simple one-word answer, especially if it's not no, right? Even if it's yes, you want to have an open-ended question where they're going to engage the question and really give you more information than you even asked for a lot of times. And so that's what Christina's done, is she's now refining the questions that she's asking to get the desired information back. And so what is that information? What specific questions? Well, we didn't go into the specific questions that she's been asking, but we did determine that you could probably get a list of 3 or 4 really good questions that you could ask, that you could include as part of your conversations on the telephone. And that, in addition to actually applying them in real time and really doing it over and over again, you would learn when and where those questions would be appropriate to get the desired information. And we're going to come back to that information and talk about what we were discussing there. And it's kind of a recap too. So for those that were already here and heard this, it's like, hey, if you missed something on the front end, you can jot it down now. Talking on the telephone or having those live video conversations enables you to do things in the moment and really learn some intrapersonal communication skills on verbal cues and things that people are saying that maybe they're not saying, if that makes any sense. Maybe they're saying something in the conversation, but they're not directly saying it, but you can extrapolate that information. That's what Christina is able to do now. She's start to enable or becoming more enabled to identify what it is the people are having a challenge with. Sometimes in these conversations, you'll find that when you, especially when you're new and you're not really well versed in some of the questions to ask, you'll ask a question that doesn't really give you an answer that gives you any information as to what their challenges may or may not be. And I'm not saying that you don't want to ask other questions, but ultimately, if you're here to serve people and you're going to here to provide them value, then you want to find out what is their struggle, what's their challenge, and do I have something available for them? Do I know someone? Do I have a tool available? Do I have a resource available that I could share with them, that I could give to them, that I could make accessible to them, to help them in their business, to help them in their journey? So that is the information that we're looking for, right? We're looking for that pertinent information is where are they struggling? We talked about, like, there could be so many different ways, right? Maybe they're simply struggling just to figure out how to create their blog. Maybe they're simply having a hard time figuring out how to use YouTube in that interaction and how to upload. Maybe it could be something as simple as not knowing that Instagram was primarily an application used via your telephone, and that online, like going directly from your computer, wasn't the main functionality of it. It could be something simple like that, or it could be something very complex, like they need help building out an entire sales funnel. It could be something like, hey, they need a whole entire idea on what is marketing and attraction marketing and how they could build their own personal brand. Right? Maybe they need maybe you're talking to a lady that just had twins, and now she's a little bit she's a little bit heavier than she wanted to be. She's ready to do a challenge, and maybe you work in that company. Then bam, you can give her that challenge. Maybe it's, you can fill in the blank here. You're never going to know what those challenges are if you don't learn the questions to ask, right? And the right questions to ask. And there's two ways to do it. One is trial and error, which Christina said, and it's a great method. And even if you know the answers, guys, Christina said it, even if she gave you, like, say 3 or 4 questions that you could ask, just knowing those wouldn't be enough. You'd have to go then try them. You'd have to go apply them, because you couldn't just ask it and then, like, get the instantaneous results. Like, every single person is just going to give you the answer that you desire. They might give you the result that you want. They may give you the information that you're requesting, but it might not be, that you might be asking a yes or no question, and they might all say no, and you want to figure out, well, maybe there's some other questions I can ask to get them on this question to answer yes. So there's another way to learn how to do this. Besides just trial and error, there's also, like, training that's available. There's all types of different types of training that you can learn. Prospect training, right? The prospecting training, talking to leads. There's all types of different stuff that you could go and Google. I'm sorry, I got caught up on Bob's chat over there. You could go look up something on Google and look up a lot of different types of training, right? You could get my prospecting playbook from Bill Pesco-Solido. You could get prospects to buy from Diane Hockman. I think even the prospecting playbook, I think for like $7 or $12 or something. I think it's $7. You can get, like, the very first module or something, right? So you can go to other people that have already done this, that are having success. I know Todd Falcone does some killer, like, cold call training, right? So you can go to people that have already done this. You can go and learn with them, study with them, see how they do it, and then start to apply it. And then you'll adapt it, right? Some of the stuff you might be able to translate straight across. So you might be able to say almost the exact words and get the desired result. Some of it you may have to change into some of your own vernacular. You may have to put it into your own, and it's a fancy word, guys, vernacular, of saying, like, your language, right? Like if you're from the South, they have a different vernacular than, say, like way up in like Maine, right? They use different slang. They have all different like enunciation and terminology. So that's it. Some of the stuff's going to translate over. Some of it you're going to have to use and implement and start to make into yours. And if you can do that, which you can, then you can start to see a change. You'll start to see a different result, and wow, we have jumping crazy bunnies in my backyard. There's always something fun, guys. I should show you this one next time they run by. They just went like crisscross applesauce and jumped, like high-fived each other. Wow. I don't know if they're angry and are they fighting? Yeah. They're battling bunnies, but they didn't like get violent. They just did like a jump. So guys, I was gonna go freestyle and all casual, and then Christina just brought up something that's just so awesome, so powerful, that it can change the game. What Christina did and what Christina's doing is one of the things that really changed the game for me. Being able to literally go from the texting, getting people on my list, to then being able to communicate with them one-on-one on the telephone, it like takes the relationship, it takes that trust and everything to the next level. And if you can continue to do that over and over and over and over and over again, imagine what kind of a network of people that you will have built. And guys, not every single person that you're going to talk to is going to be a customer, right? Like Christina might find someone that she just like, the answer for them is to send them to me. The answer is to send them to Billy Johnson, or to her sister, or right. Do you know what I mean? Like, right? Because there's sometimes people, Christina, that come to you and they need some help, and you're just like, hey, that's not my area of expertise.
Yeah, like totally. I mean, I don't know, it was last week or week before last. I sent somebody to Tom Leonard because they wanted to know about Twitter. So I was like, here, I'm not a Twitter person, but here's my buddy is. But right. Something else that I've really learned is that even if they're not a customer at this point, like you're in the hopper when they work out their money situation or whatever, they're already starting to go out and immediately help you build authority, because they're like telling people, hey, you go talk to Christina because like she knows what she's talking about, or she'll help. Right. So they're my voice too.
Right. Absolutely. I think it's just all around. I think it's a game-changing move in the beginning of your networking. It's a game-changing move because you learn skill sets that are absolutely essential to succeeding. I mean, imagine if you can go and have these conversations in text and in chat, and then you can take that to the telephone. Like, check this out. That just translates into real life too. You can take it into real life, and if you get good at the text and the chat, then that translates into copy, right? And then the telephone calls turn into like what you can do face-to-face with people. So the skill set's not just like isolated to this one thing, like, oh, if you learn to talk on the phone, that's all you'll be good at. If you can learn to talk on the phone, you'll probably also be good face-to-face.
Face-to-face, exactly.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Except for you're just face-to-face now. It might take, for those that get nervous, like, we all have like our own little like self-voice and challenges that we all have. So it might, in the beginning it might be nervous a little bit face-to-face, but then you'll see, because of the telephone skills, that you have the skill in that area, so then you'll become confident, even more confident, and you'll get right through it. It's the same thing on the text and chat. If you start doing that and you do it more and more and you refine that skill, when you go to do it online, when you go to write the copy, when you go to write an ad, when you go to write an email, when you go write a post, people will start to engage in it. You have a better response. You get the desired result because you've gotten good at it, right? It's not like one day I started writing some stuff on Facebook, and I don't even remember what day it was, right? One day I posted something and it just got a ridiculous amount of comments back and likes and shares and all that, and I was like, wow, that's totally different than it used to be. And then I was like, well, I wonder why now people are doing that, right? Well, now there's more people listening because time has expired, so that group of people has increased. But also, I learned what to say better, right? Time has also expired, and I've said lots of different things, and I've noticed what people respond to and what they don't respond to. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I think this is one of the best skills to learn, and I'm glad that you just brought it up today and that you're using it, because I think that you're going to see, and I know that when people start watching, watch this, Christina, watch over the next like 30 to 45 days. If you continue to do this, watch how much growth you'll have. It's crazy. It's like what you've already done, right? All of this stuff that you've already done, when you add this into, like that little thing into it, it's like when you add them together, it makes like a chemical reaction that gives you like a little turbo.
Huh. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, just watch. I mean, it's funny when I say like just watch, but it's not. It's a calculated thing, right? Like when people think that you're just out there willy-nilly talking to people and stuff and just like doing your thing, it's not. It's totally like what you're doing gets a specific result, and over time that result is positive, right? Like that's just the reality of the deal. You're building relationships like that are deeper, and the amount of because of how you're doing it, it's like you're touching them more times, right? You hear in the business model like you have to touch them like 7 times, right? You're touching them like more, and when you do, you're like literally putting your hand right on their shoulder.
Yeah.
They hear your voice, they see your face.
Yeah. But, and you know, it's cliche, but honestly and truly, the 2 best things that anybody can do, in my opinion, is to A, not be married to the outcome, and to B, get rid of your intentions to get people in your deal and just help them. Because what I'm finding is doing that, they may not be my customer right now, but they're absolutely hanging on my coattail as far as listening to what I say, you know, when I'm posting in social media or just my content in general. So they're either sending people to me or they're hanging around and will eventually become a customer. I have no doubt.
Right. It's absolutely right. And it's probably cliche for a specific reason, because it's true, right? Because that's just how it is. So thank you so much, Christina, for joining us. It was like this might have been the smallest free-for-all ever. It was just like us.
Oh, right.
Right? But I think that everyone enjoyed it this morning. It looked like everyone in the chat was really enjoying it. So I think that, hey, you know what? You raised your hand. We were rocking it. And I think this is going to go back. You know, we're going to be able to send people back to this specific hangout and say, hey, you know what? If you want to know about a strategy and how important it can be and how powerful it can be just to be communicating with people, video, Skype, you know, chatting with them, Skyping them, calling them on the phone, go back to this hangout, listen to a couple of the ideas, and listen to the main points. There's 2 really, a couple big takeaways that you can grab from that, and I think this is actually going to be one of those Friday free-for-alls that where I'll actually sit down and put an email and be like, hey guys, if you weren't here, you might want to go check this out. So I wanted to say thanks so much, Christina, for coming out today. I don't know, are you at work today or are you actually at home?
I'm at home, baby.
I wasn't sure because you come from work you're always in the office. So, well, I wanted to thank you so much for coming out this morning. I want to thank each and every guest that we had here this morning. I want to invite you guys all here. Let me put in the chat. It's I think 832-551-5901, and the access is 100669. And I'm going to actually go over and host the My Lead System Pro call. It's about a 15-minute call. They do it every single morning. Most of you guys already know. And I am going to be hosting this morning. So we're going to jump over there. It's going to be the topic this morning is going to be the Black Friday advantage and how you can really use this advantage in your business today. So it's not going to be the wacky, zany, goat-loving, frolicking through the forest Bert that you know. It's going to be a little bit more serious, postured movements that you can make as a business owner and use this time of the year. So if you want to, it's probably going to be a little fun though. I'm just saying it's still going to be me. But I'm going to talk about 3 points that I think that we can all really use right now to take advantage of business. So come on over, join us. That call starts in just 5 minutes. I'll see many of you there. For the rest of you, go out and have an amazing Friday. Let's remember that November the December free daily coaching links will be up. I'll get it up this weekend, and I'll post in the group when they go up so we can make sure that you get re-registered. If you don't re-register, you won't get reminders about free daily coaching. So I'll put the new link up this weekend. Thank you so much again, Christina. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Bye.